At 6 in Loma here. This is Nucking Futz Nipsey and Praise Jesus. Beautiful urban micro farm here. Nipsey is let's call her Nipsey. She is a herbalist, and they both love plants, and they're both growing stuff, not just for their own consumption, but also for public's consumption. So I love what they're doing here. Just wanted to show it off. All right. So you're an herbalist, right? You do.
I'm a folk herbalist. I'm not trained. I just have knowledge that's been passed down from my family, from friends, from workshops that I've done.
So you grow herbs out here that you then make teas with, and
make teas, tinctures, yeah, that kind of stuff, medicine and teas. Right now, we have the boxes out here, which are for anyone to come and pick from. We just harvested a bunch of eggplants. We have beets and Swiss chard over here, kale, sorrel, spinach, nasturtium. We just had people. We had a girl come by the other day and was just grabbing stuff for a salad. We had this older woman who couldn't afford groceries during the pandemic, and she would come and she would get carrots and radishes and broccoli, and she was always like, "Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here." There's another person who was doing the same thing, so she's like, "I just come and take a couple things, and then I just cook for me and my husband. It's perfect." So we had a pollinator box up here, which just had like a bunch of flowers in it. It has the borage. It had a bunch of natives. We had calendula in there and chamomile last year, milky oat. This box over here was our tomato box. Right now it's this lemongrass.
So this box is just to feed the pollinators.
It's just the pollinator box.
And that helps everything else out.
It just brings a bunch of bees to the garden. Like we had a lot of bees last year, and yeah, I mean everything is growing great. And
it stayed peaceful. They didn't bug anyone. Bees aren't here to hurt you. They just want nectar.
No, the bees are fine. Even my kids play with the bees. This box is our tomato box. We have some companion planting in here: cilantro, thyme, basil, things to keep away, like, you know, the caterpillars that'll eat the tomatoes. Right now we don't have any tomatoes in here, so we put some lettuces in here this year, which we just harvested, all our romaine. Oregano, lemongrass, which I grew this one from seed 4 years ago, and it's finally going to seed.
Wow.
So I've harvested it every year for 4 years.
The seed?
I know that I've harvested the stalks.
Gotcha.
I've harvested the stalks. I cut them down to like the nubs every year, and make tea, and it grows back. But this year I saved some because we're moving, and I want to take the seeds with me.
Nice.
Yeah, and then over here we have yarrow, which I use to make medicine.
Yarrow's a California native, right?
It is. This is a California native.
Water,
it doesn't. This one's a really easy one. It's good for fever. It's good for a lot of things. I got my motherwort right there in the middle. That's chamomile that's ferning up in the middle on that side. And then we have fennel and dill, kale, obviously, and our brassicas.
And this is where you had the giant collard trees, the tree collards
collards were on that one, but they got attacked by beetles, and so I had to chop them down. And usually they'd last 15 years.
Wow.
But the beetles like hollowed them out and just ate them all. This box actually, I had kale, beans, and peas last year, and some tomatoes, which are there still. But a squirrel planted some corn. And so, I don't know, maybe October, I had corn taller than the house in this box. Wow. And when we had those huge storms, it knocked it all down. Wow. But it was, yeah, here and over there.
You got sunflowers, too.
Sunflowers are popping up, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, we have sunflowers blooming now.
Beautiful.
There and over there.
Y'all had the biggest sunflowers that I've ever seen. They also have stuff in the ground, so trees.
Yeah, we got our carcara.
Beautiful. Passion fruit. Circling the entryway there.
Avocado.
Avocado. Corn.
We've got our banana trees.
Beautiful.
Dragon fruit, 2 types. We have red and white.
Nice. Pumpkins, obviously.
Yep. Plum. This could be coming back. Almonds. They're almond trees.
Beautiful.
These are other
passion fruit.
Which seems to do a lot better. Obviously, it's darker. You can see the coloring is a lot better, but we use this for teas and tinctures and for fruit.
You use the flowers for teas?
Every part of it's edible.
The leaves?
On this particular one, all passion vine is, or passion flora is edible, but this type is.
So you can cook the leaves and eat them like spinach?
Yeah, we actually use them
even
for
raw?
teas.
Okay.
Because it helps with ADD, insomnia, anxiety, and sleep.
So they have a similar relaxing effect as the flowers do?
Yes, exactly. The whole vine has the same.
Dope. And what kind is this? What specific?
Passion flora edialis.
Edialis. So that's the fully edible one. Edialis is edible. Is that hibiscus? Nice.
Yeah, I grew
Wow.
it from seed that I got in a co-op swap with a bunch of other herbalists.
Tight.
And I mean, it was like 4 years ago now. I grew it in like a pot forever, and then when we got here, I planted it, and it was like, you know, yay big. The dog ate it, and I was like, oh my god, it's dead. I grew it in a pot for like 3 years, and then it came back, and now it's huge. A year and a half later, that's a year and a half of growth.
Jesus.
Right?
Beautiful.
Crazy,
Beautiful.
huh?
You've got a forest understory already. Oh, I gotta get you moringa seeds too. What is that?
That is jasmine.
Ooh.
Alex got for me for my birthday from like a store, and I planted it here, and it's like growing up and entwining. You can see up there with the passion flower, which I think will be so pretty, but it smells so good.
That smells amazing.
Yeah, it's pink jasmine. Here's my chia harvest. It fell.
What?
Yeah, they're chia seeds. We
No way.
We grew a bunch of chia seeds this year.
What?
Yeah, these ones I
Is
didn't
that
harvest yet.
the native California one?
I think this one is, yeah.
The salvia? Dude,
Yeah, it's a salvia.
that's rad.
Got clovers in here, or sunflower.
I heard there's like a couple varieties of chia.
It's the salvia one because it was gifted to me, and I didn't know what it was, and it kept looking like a sage.
Okay.
And then when it started producing flowers, I was like, oh, it's the chia.
Dope. Wow.
But you're gonna.
Y'all heard it here. Chia time. All right, so.
Back here we have our chicken coop.
All right, so this is a great use of a very small space to grow some very productive little creatures, or to house. So,
They have a run all the way down the side.
Give us the full chicken overview. So what's it like? You have some giant birds there. What's it like
I know, they're
having
really
these
fat.
chickens in urban Long Beach in a small
It's fun
suburban
and
yard?
interesting. Our neighbor over here built so we have a couple of skateboardists who, because we'll let them out in the front yard to just go and eat and forage and do whatever, especially in between like planting seasons. Oh, he's stunning. She's stunning her wing. And so we have a couple of skateboarders who go over the fence, and so they would go into our neighbor's yard, and so when he got a Tesla, he was like, I want the chickens to climb in my car, so he built a ladder that leads from his house into, like, up the fence, so they can just hop back in. I was like, alright, cool.
So we've got a chicken ladder, we've got a chicken coop, we've got a chicken run. We don't have a chicken tractor yet, but the new place, we will maybe.
Maybe. Oh yeah.
Nice. So food scraps go to them.
Food scraps go to them
They
that we
clean
don't
up.
put in the compost.
Whatever
That
you
they
don't-
can have. And then we get eggs.
You're making some great fertilizer. I'm gonna get out.
They like to do that. They can go out. They'll come back in. Yeah, lots of eggs. So
Nice.
we get a couple a day.
So how many? Couple a day?
Yeah. During the summer we get a lot.
How many chickens you got?
Too many.
No. It's like at least 10. Something like
Yeah.
that. So one from each bird almost
Yeah, a day.
daily.
In the summer.
Sheesh.
In the winter it stops from like November to January, and then we get like every other day we'll get about this many. So
Nice. So so you say you let them out to the front. What do they do out there when they're plucking around in the yard?
they eat caterpillars in the spring. They dig for grubs and eat grubs. They'll eat all of the dead plants. I mean, they'll eat the living plants too. They've killed a lot of my herbs, especially that big golden one right there. We call her Goldie, the big one. She like loves my catnip. She loves my lemongrass. Like she goes after all of my medicinal herbs.
That's
So
funny. Wow. She is huge.
she's the big boss. She's the big boss. But I gotta pick up Mars.
Chickens. You have cats and dogs around here.
Yes.
How do they get along with the chickens?
Fine, absolutely fine.
Easy, no problem.
No problem.
Nice.
Some dogs will go after chickens, but no.
You've trained them. He's peaceful.
Yeah. Sure is.
I'd be more worried about the cat.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, you want to go in the house?
All right, so to harvest the fertility of your chickens, how do you manage it? You said once a year you do a deep clean.
So yeah, we maintain the coop with like the chicken poop and all of that fun stuff. Put down new bedding, rotate it.
So you mostly do the deep litter method, litter method?
Which is where we just keep layering on top. We just keep layering and layering and layering until it's time to harvest. And so like once a year, depending on how many birds and how dirty it gets, maybe every 6 months, we'll take it all out and put it in the compost. Sometimes like the bottom layers are great to go just straight into the garden because they've been sitting for about a year.
Beautiful.